the nose. Shalom. The East is where we're from, the 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. The highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us. Good point. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled and filled. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, a highest gathering Israel, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, a highest gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. From Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, the highest gathering Israel. That's right, brothers and sisters. The Most High, Ahia, is gathering Israel. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar, and y'all know the routine. As you come in, please hit the like button. This way the algorithms can let people know that the Gathering of Christ Church is live on the beginning of a new transition. Please hit the like button. Let everyone out there know that we're here, because YouTube and others, we know Google and all that, they're trying to put mainstream stuff in front of regular content. Okay? They're trying to put mainstream media, because no one's really listening to it. They're tired of the lies and all those things. And what they're doing is they're putting all mainstream stuff to be the preferred videos when one come to YouTube. At one time, YouTube was what? A content creators platform. It had nothing to do with mainstream. This is where people actually went to get real information, talking to real people, understanding what was really going on outside of the corporate programming. Because everyone turned their TVs off and began to say, listen, let's deal with our own world, and so we can understand the reality of what's really going on.
Google and others just bought up YouTube and said, well, I'll tell you what, we're just going to tell the regular YouTubers, the people who have made YouTube great, who have made it the platform it's become, we're going to put them to the side, shadow ban them, and make it where people will be forced to click on us. I need y'all to look at this, folks. Usually local news used to drive and control a city. It no longer does. You go on YouTube and look at the local stations and look how many views they're getting compared to regular YouTube content creators. Why? They understand that the people have awakened and they're looking to run interference. But nonetheless, I'm not going to make it about that. We thank the Most High for the opportunity to come to you on any of these platforms to spread the word, understanding that what? The end is near. So I thank the Most High that we're on the platform either way, even though they're shadow banned, whatever the case is. And it's upon you to spread the word. It's upon you to make sure you hit the like button. Refer us to others. Because why? You have to type in the whole web browser, the whole name, just to find us on YouTube. So it's upon you to get the word out and to spread this to let everyone know where we are, because mainstream is censoring. If they can cut the president off, the so-called president, out of media existence, hey, you know, eventually they'll be coming for those who have always just, been here. But anyway, I digress. We are about to go into the broadcast. How many people we have in right now in your route? Okay. We have a few people in. All right. We're going to jump right in without any further ado. Let me bring in Elder Lawyer. Shalom, Elder Lawyer.
Shalom, Elder. How you doing, sir?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahaya. And as you can see, that's right, the Most High is calling back Israel, like the song stated. There's a transition that's going on right now that happened today, Elder Lawyer, where the corporate structure actually decided that Joe Biden would be the next face of the corporation called the United States of America. Okay, the people didn't decide. The corporations decided. And with this transition, I was up last night, early this morning, actually, Elder Lawyer. And I was looking at the campaign trail of Biden. I don't want to really harp on him. I really want to go into what's going on in the administration that's going to directly affect our people. That's where this is going. But I was looking at some videos. Someone put a montage together to show that he didn't really run in this election at all. The whole campaign from the left was just saying, well, vote for him because he's not Trump. That was the only thing that was the mantra, or that was the panel they was actually running on.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't that he was going to do anything. It was more so, he's not Trump. I'm like, well, that's fine. I'm not even dealing with that. But I looked at a montage where it showed that he didn't really run too much. And it got me thinking this morning that, you know what? It's really not about, the president is more so a ceremonial position. It is to be respected because it's a respected position. But all in all, it's a ceremonial position. And when I seen how he hardly ran at all, it made me think, Lawyer, that this has more to do about Kamala Harris than it is Biden. Because, right? Because during the primaries, everyone knew that being a prosecutor and the things she coming against our people, locking sisters up over in California and having laws to lock our people up, right? We didn't want her in because of the primaries. We just shoved her to the side and everyone chose Biden. I'm talking about our people, right? But then they backdoored her by having her be what? The vice president. So I think, quiet is kept. Most of our people voted knowing that there's a good chance that she'll take position at one point or the other. I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting it out there, folks, that when I seen that montage where, he wasn't that presidential. Let me put it that way. When it comes to someone that we would actually lean towards being an articulate leader of a free world. And I'm just stating that lightly. I mean, words fumbling, not being able to make sentences out, a lot of different stuff that I seen. And I'm like, it really can't be about him. It must be more so about who they have waiting in the back that our people probably would not have at any cost voted in. But I'm going to leave that there, right? But what I want to talk about, all right? And hold on. What I want to talk about today is the beginning of the end, right? The Bible speaks of perilous times. And we know that according to the Bible, there's usually a 7-year process or a 7-year cycle from one jubilee to the next. 7 years, your debts are clear, and now it's another 7 years as far as jubilee of years. So these presidential cycles have been set up 3.5, because really, when you're voted in immediately, usually presidents, when they are about to when they're on their last when they're on their last part of their presidency, it's usually at the very end where they're just sitting ducks, ready to transition from president to public life, right? So really, it's usually a 7-year cycle, 3.5 years for one side usually, then 3.5 years for another side, linking into 7 years of control of a system that they set up here in America since America's inception. It seems as if their progression, or what you would call their ideology that they're pushing socially, are linked directly with the 7 years that the Bible shows a new cycle, teaches a new cycle in the Old Testament. Now, I'm saying that to say this, that the next 3.5 years, I believe, lawyer, is going to ramp up exponentially against our people. This year is going to be deep. Let's begin with how it's starting out for us. Let's begin on how it's starting out for us, right? Let me pull this up. 1 second. The beginning of the end. Have you prepared your mind, body, and spirit for the next coming Jubilee? For the next Jubilee, that means when the springtime comes in and it's a new cycle according to the creation, something will be brewing. When it transitions into the spring, folks, we'll be in a new year according to the heavens, counting a what? A new Jubilee. A 3.5-year administration aimed towards doing what? Coming after God's people throughout the four corners of the earth. Frontal, non-stop assault on those who believe in the Bible. It doesn't matter what your color is. If you believe in the Bible and believe in traditional values according to the Most High, they're coming after you. That's number one. That's on one level. On the next level, They're coming directly after our people, using legislation as their proxy. So we'll blame it on more so the laws than the people who are actually behind this progressive agenda against the children of Israel. It's the beginning of the end. Elder Lawyer, I have a question before I show, and some people might ask, Elder Lawyer, some people might ask, well, why do we talk politics at all being Bible people? Folks.
Right.
Right? Number one, you can't talk about the Bible and understand the Bible without understanding the politic component. It's an impossibility. Example. Pharaoh was king of Egypt. That's like a president. He was forcing certain legislation into law, pressing upon the children of Israel, causing hardship and oppression against our people. From what? From a political office. Okay? So if we were living back then, it was like Moses would have to save his people without highlighting politically what Pharaoh is actually doing. Can you imagine that? Well, we're not going to talk about Pharaoh because you're not supposed to talk about Pharaoh believing in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because our laws are separate. We really need to just be talking about the Most High. No. They tricked you up, brothers and sisters. They tricked everyone up when they made people believe that there was a separation between church and state. The righteous, the prophets, those who believed in God's word, the righteous from the beginning always understood the political component because it was prophesied certain governments would rule over the children of Israel. The Pharisees go into Pontius Pilate to get Christ charged, to get him executed. Those were all politics. This was political. They had to prove that he was trying to topple the government of the Roman Empire and deem him radical. See? It was all politics. Even though Pontius Pilate washed his hands of it. Okay? When Jeconiah lost the throne to Babylon, to the king of Babylon, that was a government overtaking another government. So when someone say, well, you shouldn't look into what politics is going on, you have to realize they're one and the same. To understand prophecy, you must know what's going on politically. And we must know the characters, which is what race is doing what according to the Bible, according to their biblical names. See? Now, Elder Lawyer, you have anything on that before I'm ready to roll in now?
Yes, sir. Just one quick scripture on that point. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, verse 8.
Yeah.
The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets, which we would consider today to be religious leaders, the Bible states that they prophesied concerning countries, kingdoms, war, evil, and of pestilence. Now today, a lot of these things, the nature of the conversation would be a political conversation, but nonetheless, it still falls into prophecy. You can't, as the elder mentioned, you can't speak about kingdoms and speak about what's going on in America without relating it to prophecy. It's impossible.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that out. So in a nutshell, folks, let me make it clear. Okay. Let me make this 100% clear. Come on in, hit the like button and make it clear to you, brothers and sisters. Keep in mind that America has always, since its inception, been ran been ran and controlled by Rome since its inception. America is a horn out of the Roman Empire. It's controlled politically and spiritually by the Roman Empire, by the 10 horns of Europe. Has always been. America, that's right. I want y'all to understand that. So even though you got your presidents and others in place, they must be approved by the Vatican, by the, not just the religious, but the political control of Rome, the apparatus of Rome. They hide themselves behind corporations so that one cannot claim that it's a religious a religious scenario. So no one can claim that it's a political thing. They hide themselves behind what? Corporations. That's their face, the corporations. But behind the corporations is a spiritual and a political controlled apparatus, orchestrated, and I'm going to tell you, highly intelligent operation from the Roman Empire. They decide who becomes what in America when it comes to, high offices. America has always been a corporation. A corporation. The president is like the CEO that's picked to run over the corporations, to run over this corporate board according to the specifics of the Roman Empire. And I know you would like to think it's Trump, Biden, whatever the case is. Folks, this is way deeper than that. Way deeper. It's the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire has planned something against the children of Israel and believers all over the earth. Everything that a president puts in place comes from its cabinet. And that cabinet has marching orders beyond strictly the president. Okay? When they put their cabinet together, you have to believe the corporate interest is in that room progressing Satan's plan against God's people. But the good thing about this, lawyer, listen to this. Our people are waking up. And I know some people might think it's too late. It's well behind the time. It's never too late, folks.
Absolutely.
The good thing about this is our people are waking up. And I'm going to tell you, lawyer, you know what's waking them up? I'm going to tell you. Remember, this year, there were a lot of voices. There were a lot of voices screaming from the mountaintops, right? You had Black Lives Matter. You had the George Floyd thing, Elder Lawyer. You had the politicians and people coming out for social justice for black people. You had all that happening, right? But there was another voice happening. You had our people online. The first time I've seen it in a long time. It was almost a uniform, undisturbed voice that was saying, we don't care about all these other things. We as a people going forward is looking for something different. It was like, even though all these other things was going, you had these steady voices during this whole time saying, you know what? I don't care about what's going on in the emergency room, this, that, and the other, the Colt 45, the shootings, the marchings, the vandalism. There was a cool voice right in between saying, you know what? I don't care about all the distractions that media is pushing out there. We're not going back to the way it used to be. And you're not going to take advantage of us as a people like you used to. And there was a word going out there, lawyer, called tangibles, in which you even had rappers like Ice Cube and others coming out saying, listen, we need a plan for Black America. Okay? And the plan isn't infant mortality. It isn't women's rights. It isn't feminism. It isn't let's do something for people of color. You had a voice out there. We have voices out there saying, nah, what are you going to do for us? And what did the corporate system respond back with, elder lawyer? We're not going to do nothing for you. You go out and you vote for us. And if you become an afterthought after the election, maybe we'll throw you a crumb. But there was this voice out there that was unifying people. And now there's people, lawyers on the side saying, well, okay. They said once this election happened, something would happen good for our people. First they were claiming, yeah, we'll do something for you if you vote.
Right.
Right? Now, today was the inauguration. We were told that the presidency cannot do nothing for Black people until they're in office. Couldn't promise us anything, right? We can't do nothing for you people. And I'm going to tell you this. Our people are looking at this and saying, you know what? This is the last time. We're not falling for it anymore. It's time for us to unite under the Most High and follow his law. I'm hearing it over and over again out there where our people are saying, we've tried it since the civil rights movement and our people are still suffering under the foot of what they call white supremacy. We can't do nothing for you. But what happens on the first day, elder lawyer? On the first day of a new transition. I need you to get the book of Jude for me, elder lawyer, in a moment. The first day of the transition. Oh no, we can't do nothing for you people. We can't do nothing for Black people. Right? Look at this here. The Indian Express. Joe Biden, and we know that's the corporate structure. He's really a ceremonial face for this. Joe Biden nominates transgender woman as Assistant Health Secretary of U.S. report. Look at this. A pediatrician and former Pennsylvania Physician General Levine was appointed to, I'm not going to deal with this word here, his current post by Democratic Governor Tom Wolf in 2017, making this guy one of the few transgender people serving in elected or appointed positions nationwide. Now, we can't do nothing for you. But the first day, before he was in office, promises are being made to the minorities. Not you. You're not the minorities they're giving things to. Straight out. He said he can't do nothing for us. Nothing. But the first day, look who gets the minority props. Here's your minorities. Now, listen, I have no problem. Personally, myself, listen, people going to be what they be. They're going to do what they want to do. People can choose to do with their body as they will. I don't have nothing about that, but I need y'all to check this out. I need y'all to examine this. Look at this. What are they pushing? What are they progressing And how will all these things affect us as a people? They put in all these different types of people in position for a reason. And it's the spirit behind that nature. Let me put it that way. I'm trying to speak, in code to some degree, understanding how these rules work. But there's a spirit behind, these beings that they're putting in key positions. And it's going to affect us like you wouldn't believe, brothers. It's about to be, we are under assault. I need y'all to check this out. The first thing they do is give rights and power to that minority group. First thing. The next thing they did, Elder Lawyer. The next thing they did, they opened the borders. Let me type it in here. Check this out. Check this out. I need y'all to look at this. Check it out. Look at it. The Washington Examiner. They could do nothing for us, brothers and sisters. Look. Biden sends Congress massive immigration bill that includes pathway to citizenship and border measures. Now, you would have thought that if he was against the last administration, he would say, well, let's tear down that wall. Let's not deal with that wall since we were against that guy. No, the wall's still there. But they're going to allow a floodgate, the doors to open for how many people? Folks. Now, do I have a problem with other people coming to America? No. These were the people that were here before the Europeans. So I have no problem with the Mexicans and the others because this is their land anyway. But you have to understand the social engineering when it comes to their plans for us. That must be highlighted. They're talking about what? 11 to 15 million people. 11 to 15 million people coming into a country that has the highest unemployment rate since the existence almost of the time where they began to tally unemployment. So who are these people replacing? If they're coming in for slave labor for the lower jobs, what people are they looking to replace within the next year or so? What people? Okay. Unemployment is already skyrocketing through the roof. The majority of people that used to have jobs are working side jobs like Uber, Lyft, Amazon, or trying to start their own little business. Man, this program, this reset this year have decimated employment and security for employment. Right? So what are they planning? What are they planning with all these people coming through? They're going to hold all the jobs we used to hold. And I'm checking out. I'm going into stores and other places, restaurants and all that. And I don't see our people anywhere working. Have you noticed that, Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you noticed that? Now, again, the Mexicans, as far as I'm concerned, and the Issachar and all of them, guess what? Asher, they're my brothers. Listen, when it comes to the Boricua Taínos, they are already part of America, right? It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is they're going to try to play social engineer and bring these people over. China, East Indians, and all that to replace the what? The servant class.
Right.
And what you don't realize, they're looking at you as what? That's right. A wasteless eater, a useless eater. They're saying these people are waking up. They're starting to understand. They're starting to ask for something they've never asked for before. They're claiming also to be the children of Israel. Elder Lawyer, I need you to get that out of Wisdom of Solomon for me. The second chapter. I'm gonna need it. They're waking up, and guess what? If we give them what they're asking for, it's over. Because the system of capitalism was made for slave labor. What happens when the slaves realize they weren't born to be slaves? The capitalistic system collapses when it doesn't have a servant class. So they're scrambling with the awakening of the children of Israel. They're scrambling now on how they're going to replace the bottom floor before the whole thing falls out. That's what's going on. So I'm going to start here. The beginning of the end. There's a frontal assault going on. And they're using this reset, Colt 45 and all that as a smokescreen while they come after the people. Believers, those who believe in God, those who believe in Christ, have traditional values, believe in children, believe in family. This first year of the assault, folks, was aimed against the elderly. The first round, they have no respect for the age, like the Most High told us in the Bible. This was the year in which they would rob the coffers of Social Security and retirement plans. So if you want to know where all that COVID money comes from, hey, all those retirement and assets that old people would have had, guess what? Those coffers have been robbed. They're slowly but surely putting down the elderly. This year was just an assault on the elderly. And next they're going after the poor. The poor, not just the elderly, and they're going to focus on the poor. This year was the elderly. They're going to keep on focusing on the elderly. And then they're going after the poor. They don't care what color you are. It's about the fact that you are a believer. You are a believer. And when you pray to the Almighty, guess what? When your prayers go before the throne and the angels fight for your cause. And it slows the progression of what Satan and his angels and the ministers under him would like to do. Elder Lawyer, whole Wisdom of Solomon. Matter of fact, read Wisdom of Solomon. I have a video I'm about to play. Because the good thing about this, brothers and sisters, our people are waking up. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1.
Let's go.
For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave.
So the wicked, it says the wicked began to, think. And their thoughts is solely on these particular classes of people, the children of Israel. The wicked is thinking on how they can social engineer society to a degree in which the power structure would stay intact. Read that first piece again, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1.
Listen clearly.
For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves,
With
but
themselves.
but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave.
So you have a bunch of wicked people reasoning amongst themselves where there's no righteous voice in the room. Now I need y'all to think about that. Think about if you have politicians or some people with power with a never-ending never-ending coffer of finances to back their psychosis. They'll sit and think in a room, but not aright. Everything they think would be against God. Why? Because their lifestyles are against God. Everything that they think or calculate about will be against family because they hate family. And if you're talking about the Bible and talking about God, you are the enemy. As far as they're concerned, what you read has bullied them into corners all their lives. And now your belief system in this God have made their life a living hell. This is what they're thinking. Like the Bible says, they're reasoning but not aright. They're not looking at their own behavior to why things isn't working out for them. See? They're blaming the outside of them. They're blaming people who believe in God. When they see family together, when they see children together, when they see a husband and wife and family, they begin to reason and say, it's unfair, it's wrong. So they'll get in position politically, California, New York, they'll get in high political positions and say, now I have the power to execute my venom against those who have always oppressed me with their beliefs in that God. Listen to me. Come on.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been, for the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart.
So they saying, listen, I'm just going to live for today. With no hope for tomorrow, being unbelievers. They're saying, well, listen, we're going to take our status and our life and our parties, and we're going to live for today. We'll just take advantage of them, and whatever happens, happens. These are the people they're putting in position, folks. Now, y'all don't see this, but that appointment that happened through the corporation using Biden's name was a direct message to us that these are the only minorities we'll finance. To do what? To put you all back in order. What we're introducing to you, we're going to introduce to you our new taskmasters. You allow them, you strategically help them in place. Now watch them cut loose, because these are not regular people, folks. I got some scriptures for you. Go ahead, Elder Lloyd. Let's finish reading. Then we go into the book of Jude.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. Which being extinguished, our bodies shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air.
So they saying, listen, we don't know whether or not there's life after this. We're not believers anyway. We don't believe anyway. So we'll befriend some of you just to get in a high position to do what? To sell you and your children. That's the plan. History is replete. They've done this in Sodom and Gomorrah. Throughout all society, they've always done this. They will befriend us until they gain power. And then when they get the power, at that time, we figure out what was in their heart the whole time. They were using us, hating us the whole time, using us. only to use our status as a step for them to gain the political high ground and and receive the finances to now do what? Destroy God's people. Listen to what I'm showing you here. Everybody was going against guess what? It was fine. Everybody going against Ice Cube and all that. And you know what? And saying Ice Cube was off. Why? How can you ask for something? We need to get somebody out. He was like, listen, I'm going to say something because this is the only time they'll listen during an election cycle. Any other time we're being assaulted. Any other time we're being thrown in jail. We're being killed. So since we have some political sachet, let's use it now. Let's use it now. And people thought he was crazy. But then he sat back and said, well, okay, watch what they're going to do. What? Since you didn't hold them to task when you had the power to, check out who they're going to employ over you. Check out the mercenaries they're going to put over you. That's right, mercenaries. Listen clearly.
Verse 4. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our work in remembrance.
Come on.
And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof.
Mm-hmm.
For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning.
Come on.
For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth.
Let us speedily use the creatures like as in use. Let's just use creation. Let's just use it. Okay? And discard it. Little boys, little girls, men, women. Let's separate families so that we can actually get sexual access to the population. Let's morally just decimate the whole population. Read.
Verse number 7. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us.
Come on.
Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered.
Let us party. Let us party. The whole time putting the whole earth, especially America, under submission through this psyop that we've witnessed this year. And over and over again, you catch these guys at parties, no mask, getting it, having parties, eating dinner with their family, getting caught, getting straight busted while they're telling you something is running around killing everyone. And now these so-called legislators were partying the whole time, knowing what it was. It was a reset, an assault against those, that's right, those who believe in God on earth. Yes, they'll get anyone. Mainly the ignorant, those that are confused. Yeah, they'll listen. Satan, brothers and sisters, is an equal opportunity destroyer. Mm-hmm. He don't care if you believe or not. He don't care if you know or not. Just to take your soul or to kill you is a benefit for them. And the fact that they trick you into harming yourself, it's like an extra sensation for them. It's one thing to have people die. It's another thing to convince you to fall on the sword yourself. That's an extra sensation for devils. If they can confuse you, not have you know what's out there, what's going on, then here it is, you anxiety kicks in, you get confused, and you don't know. Well, I don't know what to think. Well, let me go get a checkup real quick. I can't taste anything. You just burned your tongue drinking tea. That's why you I can't taste or smell. if they can confuse you through the Hegelian dialectic, at the end of it, you must fall onto one of their traps. That's how it works. If they can confuse you enough, they'll tell you one story today and the story will change tomorrow. One person be saying this, another person saying that. That's right. Orchestrated chaos to a degree where people will say, I don't know what to believe, so I'm just going to go down there myself and figure it out. And the next thing you know, that's right, pushing up daisies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. Read that piece about them again, other lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth.
Let us use the people. That's why I told people a long time ago, brothers and sisters, be careful who you align yourself with under this black injustice thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just using you politically to take for themselves what belongs to you. Like if you have a lifestyle outside of the Bible, I'm not going to align myself with you under black injustice, because you are the black injustice in our community before the police gets to us. So you've seen these people locking arms with the letter people and locking arms with white feminists and saying, yeah, George Floyd, let's tear it up and all that, thinking that they cared about you. No, they were aligning themselves politically on you to take what belongs to you, triggering you for their own insatiable needs, their own satanic agendas. So I'm not going to align myself with you just because, yeah, man, we need to do something about this black injustice. And listen, I'm doing something about black injustice. It's called the Bible. I don't need to lock my arms or lock arms and march with you when you are a sinner against the Almighty. You've been a thief, you've been a robber, you've been a killer, you've been everything that the Bible says not to be. So we disagree in all these areas. But yet you want me to align myself with you because what? Because of George Floyd? That don't make it. No, I have to know if your morals aligns with mine. Because why? I don't want to hear nothing about George Floyd. I want to talk about what y'all been doing to Jacob. That's what we need to align with. Jacob who? Jacob? You mean Jacob, the guy that got shot? No, the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Naphtali, what you're still doing to us over in Africa, what you're doing to us in the ghettos. So I'm not going, and that's what's wrong. Our people are emotionally triggered and align ourselves with any campaign that's out there, any so-called political talking point, not realizing that they're only aligning themselves with you to destroy you. Witches, warlocks, sorcerers. You had one woman from the letter company, and she had wings. She had angel wings coming out of her back, doing some witchcraft in a circle with white people. I'm like, what the hell she got to do with us? What did this have to do with black injustice? And I'm like, and I'm going to use this word, they're setting our people up. They've set us up for the okie doke. Listen to what's going on. I'm glad our people are waking up. I have a video I'm about to show. I'm glad we're waking up. And folks, I don't care what anyone says. It's not too late. Satan would make you believe that it's too late. Nah, he would make you believe I should have been did this. Today is the day.
That's right.
Don't believe you waste so much time that you're behind the 8 ball. No. We need to start doing something today. Don't believe it's too late for you to actually contribute in this fight against wickedness. I said it for the longest. Taking a side. We need to take a side. They've chosen their side a long time ago. And a lot of us been living from generation to generation, lukewarm in the middle. When those that are oppressors and have enslaved us, these taskmasters, they have chosen a side a long time ago. And we've been living comfortably in the middle. Well, I believe in God, but I still want to do this. We've been lukewarm the whole time and giving Satan, the Satanists, the high ground. It's time for us to align ourselves and say, you know what? We see you. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you call yourself a minority. I don't care if you're a person of color. If you don't align with my traditional values according to God, you are an enemy of our people.
That's right.
That's it. Because I don't want to hear about what's going on with George Floyd or what the cops is doing, defund the cops, when you can be up in our neighborhood molesting our children. What's up with that? That's worse than what the police is doing. Or you can be in our neighborhood selling us drugs, getting one of our sons or daughters strung out on some drugs. That's worse than what the police are doing. Come on, let's go.
Yes, sir. Verse 8. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered.
Come on.
Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this.
Come on. What are they going to use? Let's do it.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Let us do what?
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man. See? Now I'm going to give y'all a few small examples how they'll come under the guise of helping, only to oppress and harm, to oppress and do more harm. Here's an example, folks. One thing about before the computers came on the scene, right? Some of you probably worked in call centers or whatever the case is. I worked in call centers, in my 20s. I was, managing at an insurance firm in my 30s. And one thing we understood was the power of data or leads. Well before the computer systems came on the scene, where it was all about data, because if you can get the data, that's right. You can market to whom you would like based on their habits, based on whatever, based on their psychological profile, whatever the case is, you're able to get leads. It's called leads. Now let me give you an example how these Satanists on one level oppress the poor righteous people without you even seeing them coming. Let's look at the example of leads real quick. Right? A woman is driving in her car and there's a billboard that says, "Are you being abused?" And you'll see a black woman with a black eye there. You just got in a fight with, you just say hypothetically, you are being abused. That woman on the billboard is you, right? So you're calling to get help. The person on the line calls you in to help you, give you all the help you need. Free therapy, put you on rolls for housing if you need it, give you a lawyer or the DA will come after the guy who will abuse you and all that, right? So you saying the system is helping me, right? But no, you are a lead. When you call in there, then you're not going in there strictly for you to get help for abuse. They'll help you, but you are a lead. When you walk in the door, they're getting information, data on you. How many children do you have in the home? See? Because if you are being abused, boom, there's a good chance something is going on with the children. So now, through that lead, they pass it on, and now someone comes to your home to take your children. And they're in the system now amongst these freaks. See? So even though it seems like they're looking to help you, it's always for their turn and their purpose. Nothing is for free. They'll help you out, but they'll get your children with the leads. See? They'll put him in the system when now he has to pay a debt to society, and now the government is making hands over fists on both of you. Even though the billboard said what? I'll help you with your abuse. But with that lead, your whole family, the whole generations of your family have been totally decimated. With the lead. That's how it works, folks. I'm giving you an example. None of these people have ever been for us. If they put something out there, it's just bait to get you in the door, to get a lead, to find out what they can squeeze out of our people. And mainly when someone comes in the door, they're focusing on the children. How many children do you have? They want the children. And when the children get in the system, they are no more good. And 9 times out of 10, they get so mixed up, they become a part of, guess what? They begin to play for the other team. This is how these people work. This is how they get more and more into their satanic circles. This is how they initiate into their circles against the righteous. I didn't mean to digress there. I just wanted to show an example, folks, of how this works. They sit back and conspire and use media, billboards, and all that to get you in, only to do what? Read it, Elder Lawyer.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Read.
Let us not spare the widow.
Let us not spare the widow. You think they care about women without men? They're looking at, okay, how can we benefit off that too? Oh, widow, she lost someone, so how many kids she got in there? Or the man left, okay, she might be bitter. How can we use this against her and children and the man? They sit back, that's right, they sit around a table and discuss you. How can we squeeze every ounce of soul left out of these people? Read.
Nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged.
Hold up. And they don't reference the ancient gray hairs of the aged. They don't give a D about the elderly. I told people this a long time ago with working in the insurance sector. How all of these hospice places, all of them have board meetings. And guess what? It be the other people over this stuff. I'm just going to put it that way. And the first thing they look at when they get an elderly inside their walls, these old folks' homes, is how many assets or finances or bank accounts or homes do this elderly own. I'm going to tell you how much insurance they have and how many assets they own, so that there's nothing left for the children. And they'll keep that person alive long enough through surgeries and everything to have the beneficiary sign over a house, property, bank accounts. They'll keep them alive long enough to rob that person blind, so there's nothing left for the children. This game, I'm surprised y'all don't know about this game. They've been doing this for a long time. And no soon as you sign over all that, the person just mysteriously die anyway. They keep you alive long enough to rob you blind, so there's nothing for the next generation. When it would have been better just to take care of the parents yourself and still have something. I'm going to tell you, folks, they've been running that game. They don't care about the elderly. Look what they're doing to the elderly right now. Telling them to take this stuff and doing all that. And people are dying in number. Targeting the elderly with it. Doctors say, do you get your shot? Yeah, you better go get it, man. There's going to be a deep season coming. And these old people are suffering with no advice, with no righteous advice from their families, protecting them from the assault of the devil within these societies. Come on, let's go.
Yes, sir. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged.
The ancient gray hair of the age, come on.
Let our strength be the law of justice.
Someone says, is it anything we can do to prevent it? Yes, and we're going to talk about that. First of all, brothers and sisters, we have to leave this defeated posture. We got to stop operating from a defeated posture. The Most High is with us. And that confidence comes with first falling to your knees, praying to the Almighty, doing a routine with your family to pray at least 1, twice, 3 times a day. And that's going to build your courage. They're going to build your spirit. You're going to feel the protection of the Almighty with you. We must align ourselves with the spiritual realm to get the confidence we once had before the fall. And we had that growing up before the internet started disconnecting our families, before television started and telephones started. We used to have one TV in the house and we would watch the TV together growing up. Dinner time was at 6 o'clock. We sat around the table, and this is when we found out what was going on with our family. We weren't disconnected like we are today. We have to connect again. And that builds the confidence, because one thing about family, when you have that family structure, you have fortitude and a will and a purpose to protect your family with your life. And guess what? The enemy fears that. But when you're disconnected, they can just pick us off one person at a time, one family member at a time, get us separated where we hardly see each other anyway. And now you hear something going on with your family and no one is around to do anything about it. We must bring family back. Something happens when that spiritual bond is there, that like it used to be. And Satan and Satan and the powers under him understand that power. There was one woman, the baby was stuck under a truck, and one woman took her arm, and because of the love of this baby, she moved that truck to save her baby. That's the power they fear. That innate spirit, brothers and sisters, for survival and the survival of our family has been lost. We can get that back. We can get it back. We have to stop operating from a defeated posture. We have to stop letting people talk down on us like we're 2 and 3 year olds. Okay? We have to assume the power of the children of Israel by first building our courage and connection with the Most High, reading the Bible together, learning the commandments, and guess what? Disassociating ourselves on every level with unrepentant sinners. Now we're drawing a line now. See? But we'll talk about it. I don't want to go too far off, but go ahead, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 11. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth.
So what are they going to use?
Let our strength be the law of justice.
We're going to get in a political position to use the law. That's right, as our weapon against them. So they worked and aligned themselves with us and said, well, yeah, what we're dealing with in our sexual choice and all that is no different than what black people dealt with in the civil rights movement. Align themselves in every position, folks, until they would get what? The political high ground to now use the government's coffers to destroy us. And we sat back and let it happen. Any power these people have gotten was given to them through us, acquiescing and doing what? That's right, complying with them. Instead of taking a hard line according to the Bible. Now they saying, well, listen, we're in position now. We're going to destroy you and that Bible you believe in. Thanks for the position. Thanks for yielding your power to us. Now we're in position to destroy you and take your children. Read on.
Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth.
Come on.
Verse 12. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous.
Let us lie in wait for the righteous. Now that's right, brothers and sisters. They're think tanks. They're always thinking about how to further cause distress on our people. How to further separate us, because why? If they can keep us separated, we become individual consumers, easily controlled with no purpose. If they can keep us separated, now what? Think about it, folks. If a family is together, the overall financial output is way less. It's not two separate houses, two separate rents, two separate mortgages, two separate lives. Mm-hmm. See? You have to budget according to what? The family. And then you have to say, well, since we're together, I have to build a legacy for my children. So what? You become less of a consumer to be used by them. So when they separate the family, they got two separate consumers. It was never about equality, folks. It was about having two people pay the same amount to live and not have enough, and to stay separated the whole time. That's what it's about, folks. Two is better than one. The scriptures tell you that. Because when one fall, you got another one to prop them up. And what happens when two are separated? Oh, man. I was here with the kids and I fell asleep and oh my God. And you outside and the house is on fire. Because you was by yourself trying to do it all by yourself. And then the other one are looking at you like, how can you be so irresponsible? What's going on? It's our kids up in there. When it was two there, somebody knocked on the door and be like, yo, somebody downstairs, let's go deal with this. Then the other one fell asleep, but someone went to the bathroom and said, yo, I smell smoke. I smell smoke in here. See? Two is always better than one. Don't ever believe that feminism and all this other stuff was for equality so that they can give people equal rights. It was all about separating family and making two individuals consumers, because the greatest enemy against Satanism and his ministers are family. Family is the image of God. Male and female made he them. The image of the Almighty is male and female together, which is the enemy of Satan. And he'll never win against that union. Come on, let's go.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn.
Because he is now they lying in wait for the righteous. Who the righteous? People who are claiming to be the children of Israel. Because they say, let's lie in wait to destroy him. Because why? Now that they found that Bible and the truth of themselves, we can no longer use them like we used to. We can't use them. They can come to me and say, yeah, man, what's going on with George Floyd? I'm like, what about George Floyd? What are you talking about? Hey, man, racial injustice. I'm like, what do you mean racial injustice? You talking about the slave ships? That's Deuteronomy 28 and 68. What are you talking about? Well, what about equality? You weren't brought here to be equal. You were brought here to serve and learn a lesson so that we can now not repeat the mistakes of the past. How can you be equal with a ruler? That doesn't make any sense. He's no longer a ruler. If I was a ruler, I wouldn't have people equal with me either. What are you talking about? So this is utterly ridiculous talking about you want equality. There is no equality. Only one empire can rule at a time. There will never be equality. You have one person in power and the rest pay tribute. So all this equality crap was a load of crap they gave us. And this is why, even though I respect Martin Luther King and all that, and I respect because he had courage, the whole thing is why you think out of all the things Martin Luther King talked about, they only repeat the dream from year to year. They want you to remember the dream. They don't want you to remember when Martin Luther King woke up and said that he prayed that he didn't actually propagate and send his people into a burning house. He hoped he wasn't used to actually release his people into a burning house. You don't hear that, do you? They want you to deal with the dream, because the dream isn't prophecy. Esau and the other nations want you dreaming. Okay? Because you can dream of equality, but that's not so. It's not biblical. One empire rules and the rest of the world pays tribute. That's it. There's no equality. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we'll put our time into something that actually will benefit our nation, our children long term. We'll put our time into that instead of looking for equality. That's a waste of time. You don't see people in China talking about they want equality. You don't see nowhere in the earth but in America talking about equality because they know it doesn't exist. You have one empire and the rest of the country, the rest of the world pays tribute. The Bible tell you about a dream. A man of the Bible should never teach his dreams and have people aspire, to achieve a dream. No. We don't roll like that. It's the Bible. No. We don't have a dream. Prophetically here's the plan. We come back to God, and eventually, when this empire falls, we're next. That's the plan. We have to be all things to all men, that we should gain a few, which means what? We don't disrespect people. We treat others like we would like to be treated. But we're not going to compromise our morals for anyone. I don't have to compromise my morals to coexist in the same country with you. Come on, other lawyer.
Verse number 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings.
And he's clean contrary to our doings. Now, why are they lying in wait, conspiring against us, you might ask? Listen to this. Go ahead, lawyer.
It says, he upbraideth us with our offending of the law.
He upbraideth us with us offending the law. The only people out there upbraiding the other nations for breaking the law are Israelites. The Most High prophesied this thousands of years ago, that they would be conspiring against us once our people come back to the knowledge that we are the true children of Israel. It says they upbraided us with us breaking the law. We out there saying, well, no, we don't deal with pork. And they'll look at us and say, well, what, you Muslim? No, it's in your Bible. It's in your Bible. It's in your Bible not to eat pork. Now, you a Muslim? What are you talking about, Muslim? I lived in Muslim countries. They don't eat pork, but they eat everything outside of pork. I mean, they be sitting down on a stoop. And I'm like, what you got there? We have camel hump. What the heck? What the Hades is camel hump? So when you say things like, well, no, we don't eat pork. What's wrong with you? We under grace. I don't break God's law on purpose when there's clean foods in the same aisle as unclean foods. Grace usually applies when there's no choice. I'm not breaking God's law on purpose. Right? So if I'm in survival mode and there's only one can of beans left, and I'm a few hours from that light, and I look at it and they say, okay, you may have a little, you may have a few pieces of fat back up in those beans. I'm gonna do as much as I can to filter it through and rinse it off. And guess what? I'm gonna have grace with those beans. Mm-hmm. Okay? But if there's a choice between clean or unclean, why do I need grace for the unclean? So this is what makes them angry, because they know when we start making choices on that little level, those that's honorable in small matters are honorable in big matters. So they'll see us, we're starting to make choices for ourselves outside of their programming. And that is what they fear, folks. Not the fact that we're not eating pork. The fact that it's okay with them and we loathe it. How can you, being a servant, come over here in captivity with no knowledge of yourself? How is it now you can tell us what's right or wrong? So that's the part that they hate. That they're losing the moral high ground, where slaves are telling them they're out of pocket. See? Read that again, lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
Lie in wait for the righteous, read.
Because he is not for our turn.
Because he is not for our turn. Read.
And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education.
Now, what people out there is telling them that their education is garbage, and that their education is nothing compared to the laws of God. This Bible is prophesying the awakening of the children of Israel. You gotta be out of your blank mind, teaching in school that the earth happened through a big bang 25 billion years ago. When you can't even tell me what happened 1,000 years ago. I'm supposed to believe you got the evidence of 25 billion or 25 million years ago? So when we come and tell them how stupid their education is, and how it's really a trap to put people in debt. Now, who they think they are? Who they think they are that's claiming they're Jews? I mean, they're black. They can't be Jews. I got some information. I hate to be the bearer of good news. But yes, the Israelites, the children of Israel, were always people of color. They were always black. And I don't have to say I hate someone else to stake claim to that. I think everyone has the right to believe anything they would like to believe. Why is it a problem when we begin to know that we're the children of Israel? You told us in America there's freedom of religion, that we have the right to believe anything we would like to believe. Well, we believe we Israel, and now everyone has a problem. Why? Because with Israel comes a code, and they don't want our people on code. Chaos is how they rule us. While they go to the same temple together, while they celebrate the same holy days together, we're in the ghettos, totally confused, not realizing that disorganization keeps us under the foot of the enemy. See? You're not supposed to have order. Okay? You're supposed to be you're supposed to be totally people who don't know what shame is, You're supposed to be vulgar, obtuse. You're supposed to be totally out the box. You're supposed to sin and glorify in your sin. You're not supposed to be able to articulate yourself and express yourself righteously or normally. See, you're not supposed to be. Anytime you like that, they're like, well, hold up. Did Judah wake up? You darn really he's awakened. And now they're behind closed doors conspiring, saying, well, yeah, y'all black people say y'all want something. We can't do nothing for you, but check this out. Don't worry about it. We got something for you. We have something for you. We're going to appoint a taskmaster for you. Okay. Right out the box. Let me get it here. Go ahead, the lawyer. Finish reading. I'm going to get it.
Yes, sir. Verse number 13.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Here it is right here. Oh, y'all, we can't do nothing for y'all. We can't do nothing for y'all, but, we're going to appoint the first. This is what we're going to do for you. We can't do nothing for you, y'all minorities, but, we're going to appoint the first transgender over the health secretary. So what does this mean? This person is going to be behind the initiative that's going to come after our people with the dreaded needles. This is the person that's going to be coming after us with the dreaded needles, folks. There it is. There it is. Let's go with the lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 13. He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
And now they're upset because we call ourselves the child of the Lord. When we were calling ourselves Hotep, Moors, when we were calling ourselves Africans, Negroes, African Americans, when we would call ourselves Egyptologists, Nuwabics, when we were calling ourselves Muslims, no one had a problem. When we called ourselves Christians, no one had a problem. But here's the problem. Read that part again, Elder Lawyer.
He professeth to have the knowledge of God. He calleth himself the child of the Lord.
He calleth himself the child of the Lord. They are upset that we're now staking claim to our true identity as the children of Israel. Someone asked, who's this picture? You probably missed it earlier. Here is Joe Biden's first appointee, his first appointment, when he said he could do nothing for black people. He nominates transgender. You can say that if you want, as Assistant Health Secretary of the United States of America. Well, I don't know how to say this. He used to be a guy by the name of something Levine, but he's a transgender and he's over the health system with them rolling out the Colt 45 injections. This is who they have in charge of it. When they can do nothing for black people, though. He says, I can't do nothing for y'all because I'm already taking care of the minorities. Here you go, your minorities. And not only that, they're also claiming that they're people of color too now. They're saying they're people of color. Be like, what are you talking about, you people of color? Yeah, we're white. I don't know if you've seen that video, Elder Lawyer, where one guy, he had on the whole wig. He was a white guy. And he says, what you're doing is double blasphemy and you're committing a double crime. And the guy said, what do you mean a double crime? Well, he says, not only am I the trans thing, but I'm also a gypsy, which makes me a person of color. Lawyer, this guy was white as the driven snow. But not only are they claiming a minority, he says he's a double minority. And the guy says, a white guy was arguing with him. He says, you're committing double crimes right now. The white guy, what do you mean double crimes? Well, I'm trans. He says, I'm trans and I'm also gypsy, which makes me a double minority. I'm a white person. I'm a person of color.
Wow.
There go your people of color, folks. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Well, if I can mention, this may be a double crime we're committing tonight because this guy that was appointed, excuse me if I'm not allowed to use that expression, guy, but not only is he trans, but he's also a part of another group of people that you can't necessarily speak against freely. I'll let you all fill in that blank.
So
Revelation
he's also,
2,
yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Revelations 2. Yeah, Revelations 2:9. Wink, wink.
Revelations 2:9. Revelations 3:9. Right. So what's going on here? So now they're putting people in position to assault the population. So what are their plans? Our people are waking up. Elder Lawyer, hold real tight, real quick. I'm about to pull up the video. Hit the like button as you come in. We're gonna bring some resolutions to the end of this. All right. Hit the like button. I'm gonna put on this quick commercial. Then after that, we'll be right back with the video. Hold tight. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. That's right, the Hebrew and Bible Academy, brothers and sisters. You are invited. It's only week 3, okay? Now, I said earlier, about a month ago, that we're going to be going into what really happened in slavery. I can't do that week 3. The reason why is because we just went into the creation of the universe and then tracing the serpent seed. So I must go into first, that's right, Abraham's seed, Abraham, the promised seed, to show how the Nephilim and the giants went from that side of the flood to this side of the flood. So I have to go into that first in chronology. I can't jump straight into slavery, and I haven't even went into the 12 tribes yet. So we're going to move what really happened in slavery to week 5, because I have to break down the Israelites, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi from Abraham, and break down how the promises didn't change in the New Testament, how the Christians were deceived into believing that the promises changed from Israelites to Gentiles. So I must go into the promised seed so I can transition us for the slavery lesson. So don't worry about it. You still have it week 5. We went in this week on tracing the serpent seed, folks. We are not alone. There's no aliens. We broke down the angelology, the angel ranks, and the fallen angels last Sunday. They're the real leaders of this world. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, principalities, powers, The workers of evil in dark places. Those powers are powers. L's. Fallen angels. What they would call Anunnaki or whatever you would like to call them. They're the true rulers of this earth. And we're going to go into next week, this Sunday, on how they were able to preserve themselves to end up on this side of the flood, only to oppose our father Abraham. We're going to go into our father Abraham when he went into Egypt. Proof that Abraham was 100% black man, without any shadow of a doubt in their records. How he went, our father Abraham, and taught the Egyptians science,